Welcome to the Endurance Studio podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Turner. I'm an avid ultra-endurance cyclist, bikepacker, and runner, and I'm on a journey to learn and share everything I can about how people can push beyond their limits. This podcast will explore all aspects of endurance through conversations with people I find unique and interesting. There's always an amazing story of accomplishment and failure, and always something to learn. I run this podcast from an off-grid mobile studio I've created so I can travel to the guests and have authentic, in-person conversations because I believe in the importance and power of face-to-face conversations. Thank you for watching and listening. This episode is brought to you by Squirrel's Nut Butter. Who doesn't need a little extra lube in their life? They make adventure lube. It's the best in the business. I use the saddle butter for riding and the anti-chafe for ultra running. It's all natural ingredients, sustainable packaging, and it's locally manufactured here in Flagstaff, Arizona. And go check out episode number 4 with Chris Thornley. He's the owner and operator of Squirrel's Nut Butter. He's an amazing human, and he's got some really great stories on that podcast. So check him out. You can use my unique promo code, Endurance15, for 15% off any of their products online at squirrelsnutbutter.com, or you can click the link in the description and it will automatically be applied to your shopping cart. So please use that code. Go buy from them. Let them know that their support of this podcast is paying off for them, and spread that lube love. squirrelsnutbutter.com. This episode is brought to you by Embark Good Energy. If y'all have been following me for a while, you'll know that I have a thing for maple syrup, and I'm stoked to announce that I am now an ambassador for Embark Good Energy. They hail from the woods of Wisconsin's driftless region, and they make amazing organic maple syrup. So I love adding this, what I call rocket fuel, into my bikepacking race mix. There's 3 flavors: salted maple energy, coffee maple energy with 72 milligrams of green tea caffeine, that's my favorite, and elderberry, which can be taken straight up or mixed with water. One 3 fluid ounce pouch has a lab verified 320 calories and 80 grams of carbs. And it's not that garbage maple syrup with high fructose corn syrup. This is 100% organic, great tasting maple syrup. You can use directly from the pack for quick energy, mix it with water for a hydration aid, or use it in camp cooking and even cocktail mixes. They're convenient resealable pouches, so you can have multiple uses while consuming it and avoid sticky messes. So use my unique promo code to get 20% off today. The code is EMBARK20, EMBARK20, for any products online at embarkmaple.com. And shout out to Garrett Mack for becoming a Spotify supporter. Thanks, Garrett. Today's guests have come all the way from Morpeth, England to participate in and finish the Arizona Trail 800 mountain bike race. They're a father and son team that persisted against the physical and environmental adversity dished out by this daunting trail. Together, they experienced extreme heat, cold, thirst, hunger, pain, and joy throughout their journey that ended up being over 900 miles and 100,000 feet of elevation gain. I'm honored to have the opportunity to sit down with them in person before they headed back across the pond to do a bit of debrief from their rides. I'd like to welcome to the podcast today, Rich and James Rothwell. Rich and James Rothwell, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Just completed together the Arizona Trail 800 ultra endurance mountain bike race, hailing all the way from England, right?
Yeah.
So you are from Morpeth, England, is that right?
Yeah. It's
Morpeth.
just below the Scottish borders.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean it's pretty wild, but nothing like this.
So take me to the beginning. Have you guys bikepacked before together?
Yeah.
Have you done like races or just kind of casual?
Trying to think.
Or like events like this?
Events.
Yeah, there was a North York. We did the Highline Trail 550, which is probably one that's more familiar with people over here. When James was 11 years old, and that's a really tough, demanding route, no doubt about it. Lots of exposure, lots of really rugged ground, and some big spaces between resupply. So I'd done the race a few times, and it was a good introduction because obviously, well, James did it when he was 11, so it was a massive achievement to do it. But that getting used to that feeling of being kind of really out there, I think was great experience. But I mean, nothing quite like this. And then North York Moors 300. I think that was a pretty
big one.
Pretty big one. Do you want to talk about that?
It's a 300-kilometre route around north of Yorkshire. It's like a bit down south to us. It's, how do you describe it? It's like gravel with a bit of rocky mountain biking mixed in.
Yeah, it was definitely a mountain bike. I wouldn't have liked to do it on a gravel bike.
And did you guys do that together?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long did it take us? Can you remember?
25 hours, I think.
Yeah, it was about
Something
25
around
hours.
that.
So that was the first time James had ridden all the way through the night.
Yeah.
Which was an experience.
Yeah, what was that like?
It was tough. I didn't really feel it until the sun came up. Then it felt like I just hadn't slept.
Yeah. So you were okay, kind of like 2 a.m., 3 a.m.?
Yeah.
You felt okay?
It felt a bit more normal. It felt like I was just riding into the night. When it hits day, it just feels like a whole new day, because it is.
Right. Did you kind of wake up once the sun came up, or still stayed tired?
No, I just
No.
got more tired.
It was a downward plummet. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, really? So how long till you finished then? Let's see, it was into the following day then, right? The second day?
Yeah, it was until about 8 o'clock, I think.
Well, okay. So you had to push through all day.
Well, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then from 5, what time did the sun come up?
6?
It was probably about 6, yeah.
Yeah, it started coming up at like 5:30 then.
Yeah. Okay. So that was tough.
Yeah.
My first time ever doing like pushing through the night, I at around 10 o'clock, I'm like, I need to get in shelter. I have this need to get safe.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? Did you feel that way?
No, it's just been riding for so long at that point.
Yeah.
And we got hit by some pretty bad weather just as the sun was going down. And obviously it rained really heavily, and we didn't have a shelter. We'd made that commitment that we were going to go right the way through.
Ooh.
But you know what it's like? It's like kind of carry loads of stuff, carry a shelter, get slowed down, know where you're going to get through in one go, or roll the dice. And I think that was the first time. Well, it was the first time we did that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We attempted the Lakeland 200, which is another really famous UK route. And we were going to go right the way through the night. That was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, around like December last year.
Oh, it must have been earlier than that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, we wouldn't have taken it on in December.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the
Fun
Lake
enough
District's
weather
notorious
anyway.
for the weather, and it's very steep, very rocky, really technical. And we'd done it over 3 days previously.
Yeah, I was a year back.
How old were you then? Maybe
10?
10 years old.
Yeah.
And we decided to go for the whole thing right the way through. But you've got a big section of like 3 hiker bikes, and the forecast's so unpredictable. You know, it's not like here where it's generally fairly stable and you can predict what's coming. In northern UK and Scotland, it's like anything can happen at any time, even if you've got a good forecast. And that's what happened. So I think how long had you ridden for? 17 hours?
18. No,
18.
17. 17 hours.
Yeah, and we got hit by thunderstorms and monsoon type conditions. And yeah, it just wasn't responsible and safe to carry on and have the first go at riding through the night.
Yeah.
You know, at that age, that just wasn't responsible parenting, if you can even call me a responsible parent. But yeah, that wasn't the time to try it, which is a real shame because it was going so well.
Yeah. We're on track to finish in like 25 hours.
Yeah.
Which is an alright
25,
time for that
30. Oh,
route.
it's a really good time. It's only 200 kilometres that route, but people look at it and they go, how hard can 200 kilometres be? And it's tough.
Right.
Really, really slow going.
Right.
I think the FKT now, amazingly, has been dropped down to, I can't remember now, maybe it's
14 hours.
14 to 15 hours, which is phenomenal.
Wow.
The previous one was
18.
16 and a half. something like that. And everybody thought that was untouchable. It had been for many, many years. And then I can't remember his name now, but a guy came along and just knocked it out of the park. And everybody's tried. Like all the really strong ultra distance riders have tried. And the record stood for many, many years. Chris Hope set an amazing time. And then this guy came along and, yeah, nailed it. It's like incredible.
Not Lachlan Morton?
No, it's not a lot. He rides for Hope.
Okay.
I can't remember his name now. I should remember his name, but good guy. I mean, incredible rider. So yeah, I mean, I'd done it. I'd got a good time, and I was like kind of 17 and a half hours, which for 130 miles tells you what it's like.
It's fast.
It's but there's some sections, some hiker bike and rugged stuff that's like so slow and hard.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to stay on your bike, big steep rocky descents and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But he's got the skills.
Definitely a tough mountain bike one.
Oh, it really is, yeah. I think
Yeah.
we're going to go back and do it, get that put to bed, aren't we, at some point?
Yeah.
The one hit.
Go back and get redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then take me kind of through the HT 550. Was that, then you went from like a no sleep kit sort of thing before that to like, you have to have a sleep kit
Yeah, 100%.
and it's multi-day sort of thing
Yeah.
for the HT 550.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's a bit different over there because you've got bothies. I don't know if you're familiar with the bothy.
No, explain.
It's like I think the nearest thing you'd think of is a refuge, and the bothy organisation takes derelict buildings, and
Like just puts a bed in them sometimes. It's just like a little
a
safe
bench.
inside place.
Okay.
yeah, so they're kind of old farmhouses, or just any old buildings and the Bothy Association's fantastic. It's a real great thing that happens in the UK and Scotland, and they're beautiful. You can have a fire, and there's no electricity, there's no running water, but they're managed by the association to be safe. Because it could, it's an indoor space and people having fires and all that kind of stuff. It's got to be managed properly.
Right.
And some stretches have bothies, particularly on the southern return when you get into the really gnarly terrain. It's walking routes, it's mountain bike routes, and yeah, you can get into some pretty serious trouble, especially as the weather, can be extremely rough.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing you're dealing with there more than here, I mean, you can get extremely cold here, as we did, but
The
heavy.
wetness.
Yeah, it's the wetness.
The wetness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I did I had a little taste of this when I did the Westfjords Way in Iceland.
Okay.
Just the wet and the cold,
Yeah.
around 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So like just above freezing.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
just wet.
hypothermia window.
Yeah. Very just miserable after 3 days. 4
Yeah.
days, right? And we were touring it, so we had heavy gear and all that, but I can imagine. And so to contrast to this, well, before we get into that, when did you guys decide we're doing this? We're doing the Arizona Trail 800.
Pretty much on the Highland Trail route. It was like came up as an idea.
Nice.
Yeah.
When you're having a good day on the Highland Trail, you were like, hey, we
Yeah.
should go do this other thing together.
But I mean,
The fall would be warm.
Right.
Yeah, we thought it would be warm. Well, it was, and then it wasn't, and then it was, and then it wasn't again. So, like the extremes of temperature here are just, at least with the Highland Trail, we kind of, the window of temperature changes is nothing like this. It is kind of, and we got it rough when we did Highland Trail.
Yeah.
I mean,
really bad.
yeah, really bad. I mean, we had snow, sleet, torrential, heavy, cold rain. But because I'd done the route a few times and the actual mass start, I would say I know that route extremely well. So it was like, I know where all the little safe havens are, where the bothies are, where the resupplies are, where, just those little places that you do, if you do get into trouble or if you do get extremely wet and cold, there's little hideouts. And I think that was the deciding factor that made me say, yeah, I can do it safely with James. And when I've done it, the first time I did it many years ago, I didn't know those places, and yeah, it's sketchy from the outside. It might have looked like quite a sketchy, stroke irresponsible thing to do with a child, but I was very, very sure. You know, I knew exactly where we had to go, and the distances and the times and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't have done it any other way. And I had like a full like 3-season tent, had an emergency bothy, you know, like the kind of the throw over type shelters. We had primal off pants, jackets, everything.
Yeah.
You know, it was like I had to cross all the
Primal off slippers.
primal off slippers. They were a great
Nice.
thing. But I had to do all of that for that. You know, it was like it wouldn't have been safe and responsible otherwise. So you know, it was heavy. It was really heavy.
Right.
But that was the only way we could do it.
Right. And-
Whereas this has been a bit more of a step into the dark.
right.
Yeah.
You know, there's only so much like web searches and Google Maps and else that you can do and you just don't know where you're going to be when. So this was very different experience.
Right. So you knew it was going to be hot, right? Or at least you thought it was going to be hot. And the cold, was that unexpected?
We knew it does get cold here, but we didn't think we'd be struck that badly for that long.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
When we have a 1 degree, 32 degree Fahrenheit sleeping bag.
Oof.
Yeah.
And
Isn't
insulated
nice in
mats were a
14.
Yeah.
Insulated mats were a good thing to stick in at kind of pretty much the last minute
Sure.
instead of something really lightweight that saved our skin.
Yeah.
Sure. So I tell me about the start and the border and kind of your experience and perception of that.
The border was much less than I thought. I thought it was going to be like a wall, because that's all I really heard in England.
Right.
Or like something bigger. But it was just like a barbed wire fence.
Right.
It's kind of unexpected.
Did you have did Border Patrol come by or anything while you were down
Yeah,
there?
they drove past at night. Yeah.
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 They usually do on there.
Yeah.
There is the walls a little further down.
Yeah.
As you
Yeah.
drive in, I'm not sure if you saw it or not. You could kind of see it.
We drove in the dark. so-
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it usually when you're driving in to Sierra Vista, that area.
Right.
But yeah, that section's just it's a fence.
Yeah.
A monument. Or there's a placard or something, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's like that kind of perception you have of a place and then come and seeing the reality. And obviously that whole border thing's politicized, isn't it? And
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. And so so you kicked off from there, and I didn't see a lot of Instagram posts between the start and Picket post. I think Picket post was one of your first
Yeah.
kind of check-ins.
Yeah.
So tell me about the first couple days, that first bit.
We thought it was hard. Little did we know what was coming.
Yeah.
Just getting warmed up.
I don't think we realised how hard it would be, really. I mean, the first day we were like, can't carry on if it stays this hard, but kind of did, so.
And
Where did you take sleep the first night?
Can you remember?
About 12 miles after the ranch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like 12 miles after the turn off to Patagonia.
So you made it through the ranch closure
Yeah.
in time.
In about 25 minutes to spare, so.
Okay.
I
Good.
think psychologically that was a real boost. You know, to get through that section. Because yeah, I mean, we obviously knew we weren't going to be battling Justinus at the front.
Yeah.
But you know, it was still, we wanted to feel like we didn't want to be miles behind everybody straight away.
Yeah. Because that puts you 12 hours behind.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
don't make that.
We just
And
kind
you-
of had to make it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just extended that too. Last year it started an hour earlier. So what happened is a lot of people got caught just at the edge of that and got caught and put them back 12 hours
Yeah.
or so. So
Yeah.
it was a really good move. I'm glad you guys made it through in time.
Yeah, no, we felt really positive about that. And also it was the thought of, it's not just the 12 hours, it's just that run in to the ranch fence. It's like, where would you sleep there? You know, it's just scrubby and
Yeah.
it wasn't a very comfortable spot to spend 12 hours.
Just grasses. And
Yeah.
not fun. So you made it, so you said 12 miles after the ranch. So that must be after the highway. And then it kind of it's
Yeah.
like a snake
Yeah.
that goes up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a blur.
Yeah.
But and after that, where did we sleep that night? I can't remember.
What, on the
I think we
second
slept
night?
quite high, didn't we?
Yeah, we slept up on the most exposed, windy place.
Yeah. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
On an anthill.
yeah, basically. But it's just, again, it's like that thing of not knowing what's coming, and we were getting tired by then, obviously. And had we known, you know, you had a big snake in descent, and it would have been worth pushing another half an hour just to get down low again. But I mean, it wasn't anywhere near cold. It was more just the wind,
Yeah.
keeping you awake.
Yeah, my pillow blew past a barbed wire fence, just a bit of a pain.
Oh,
Fortunately, a cactus caught it without popping it, so that was quite good.
miracle. That's great. Okay, so we're coming through that section, and then let's see. There's like this thing called a magic gate where it feels like you're climbing and climbing and climbing. I guess you go through like a place called Kentucky Camp. It's like
Yeah.
a little ranch area.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
Yeah, they have it's like a wash basin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
it
know
was
that?
amazing.
Yeah, it's a great spot to
Yeah.
get a break in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and it was nice to. There was a guy there who was one of the Arizona Trail volunteers.
Yeah.
And he was just sitting there enjoying the sun and, like, you know, had a chat, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, and then you climb and climb, and it seems like it's taken forever.
Yeah.
And then you hit this thing that I've heard called the Magic Gate. I've never seen it. I don't remember it myself, but I've only heard people talk about it because that's like the start of the downhill all the way into Tucson. And then it
Okay.
gets kind of fun after that, and like more
Yeah.
rideable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Night 2 was pretty horrible, though.
What could remind me?
Colossal caves.
Oh god, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was grim.
You want to talk about that?
We arrived there thinking we'd get there for pizza, and
In which spot?
Colossal Caves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We arrived there about 12 o'clock when it was raining.
Way too late.
Yeah, and then found out we didn't have any shelter,
Oof.
which is pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Fortunately, the rain didn't settle in too bad, so
Yeah.
we were okay.
Yeah.
But we were down to like our last few
Yeah,
peanut M&Ms.
I think we had about 10 M&Ms and carb powder, and then had nothing to Tucson.
Yeah.
Did you make it to Rocking K Market?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we got there about 7:30 in the morning,
Okay.
and then just waited. That was nice.
It's a great spot.
It is a great spot.
Did
And-
they have hot food? And
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we were happy to see them.
Yeah.
But I mean that run into there, it was interesting because as a coach myself, I'm kind of very familiar with the concept of, you know, utilizing the fat, and, you know, fat as fuel, and we think of that as something that's like conditioned over many years of training.
Mhm.
But James seems to have that ability without, I mean, let's face it, he's not been training for years, but he seems to have that ability, and that kind of helped get us through some sections. Maybe it's a genetic thing, but it really, really helped because we had not much.
None.
Yeah, and you know, neither of us bonked. So if you use that term here, I don't know, but
Yeah.
neither of us bonked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're hungry, but you can still keep going.
Right.
And that ability really, it's critical for this kind of event, isn't it? You've got to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, can James do this? You know, hours on not many calories, but he did, which was incredible.
Yeah.
Couple of M&Ms.
Couple of M&Ms, yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, that section going into Tucson, that was fantastic. You know, we both felt, you know, despite it being a hard 2 days, we both felt positive then, didn't we? You know, you've got that lovely sweeping descent through the Broadway cactus, and it's just a lovely gradual angle. And, you know, for us coming from the UK, it's like, this couldn't be any different to our environment.
Awesome.
No, that was class. Really, really enjoyed that. And then getting on the smooth tarmac was just like, what is this? It's like, this is so easy.
Yeah, but then the fun's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you get the tarmac, and then you start to go up Reddington,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's it. So what time did you guys hit that? Was it afternoon time, nighttime, or mid morning?
I think we had a really long, we had about 3 breakfasts in Rotten K and bought a load of food.
I think we
and-
left about 11.
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, probably on that big climb like 12. start.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
was it hot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like 90s, mid 90s.
Yeah. On
For
that,
us, it's very, very hot.
yeah, on that road,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
going up and
Yeah.
up
Forever.
and
Yeah.
up,
Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah.
and then the dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But amazing. I mean, as you saw,
We thought that was Mount Lemmon.
yeah. But I mean, you see it in front of you, don't? But you go all the way round the back
Right.
before you go up Lemmon, and you could see it in front of you. And I'm just thinking, oh, don't go straight up there, please. But as it turns out, we did in the end.
Right.
But it's just round the back first.
Right.
Yeah.
There's the Molino Basin
Yeah.
bit.
That was
That
beautiful.
was nice.
Yeah, very pretty.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is, and great riding as well.
And on the way down, it's very scary.
yeah.
Riding.
It was. I mean, that I think that descent, and though that rocky single track where it was flowing and fast but pretty chunky, was probably one of my favourite descents of the whole thing. And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
But we had a cold night there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, we thought it was cold.
Yeah. Our ice formed on our bags and things, so
Whoa.
didn't have
Yeah.
any water in the morning as well, which is a bit annoying.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And then the famous push, Lemmon push,
Yeah.
right? What was that
That's-
like?
It's tough. It's very long.
Let me turn this off. Sorry. Yeah.
It's like
So how long did it take you guys?
Days.
trying not to remember.
Sorry for all the direct questions.
Yeah. No. It's, what did we do in that day? It was
19 miles, I think, in the first day.
no, that section there. Like, that was so hard.
I mean, I think we climbed 3,500 meters in 19 miles, which was a lot.
Yeah. So are you at this point like, this is harder than anything I've ever done already?
Oh yeah.
Were you feeling nervous about being able to complete it, or
I mean, slightly, but just had to carry on.
yeah.
I think
Each day's getting miles done, so
yeah. We kept hearing these stories of this bit and this bit and
Yeah.
this bit, and then people were saying things like, "Oh, it gets easier," and it just didn't seem to get easier.
Yeah.
So I think we were living on.
we kept on hearing stories of flatland just after a section. It just didn't happen.
It was
No.
just carrots that people were dangling in front of you over and over again.
Yeah, totally.
Personally, I'm okay with that. Because
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
it gives
kept
me
us
hope.
going.
Yeah, right. Rather than someone come to you and be like, "This is nothing. It's gonna get so much worse, guys."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean that section up there, Lemmon and Push and
Oracle Ridge.
God.
I don't think Oracle Ridge was that hard. It was hard, but like I think we were just so worn down
Yeah.
mentally and physically from
Yeah.
the day pass.
Did you get resupply in Summerhaven at the top of Lemmon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just got the shop in time.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's
Thank-
like 6 p.m. or something. It closes pretty
Yeah.
early.
yeah. Again, I mean, this was a bit of a shocker for us, you know. But the way that a lot of these places like open late and shut early
Mm-hmm.
is very different to UK, Europe, and as you know, as a self-employed person, I spent as much time as I could trawling through maps and times and all that kind of stuff. But there's just no way you could pick up all that, and yeah, that was tough. And it happened a couple of times where it's like, oh, I'm planning on 2 days of resupply, but then we've arrived, sorry, at like this time,
Like
and it's
2
like,
hours
that,
late.
yeah, and that's turned into 3 days of no supply.
A
And,
lot of going hungry.
yeah, yeah. So that was really challenging.
Yeah.
But it was
We
interesting.
made it to Oracle that day though. And got
Yeah.
proper meal and things.
Oh, right. So down Red Ridge,
Yeah.
right? And then over and up to Oracle Ridge.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you think you're going to just go down,
Yeah.
all good down, all the way down to Oracle.
no, yeah,
Uh-uh.
yeah. It's just so rough. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was interesting thinking about our preparation for this physically. James has done well. You can can talk about that. What do you think's helped you with the strength side of stuff?
Going to the gym,
Yeah.
rugby, things like that. BMXing
Yeah.
helped a lot.
So you did like a lot of strength training
Yeah.
leading into it?
Yeah.
Did you, either of you, practice with your backpack, with the bike on the back in preparation?
Yeah, we did, but you know what comes.
Can't really prepare.
You can't prepare.
There's nothing in the world like that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've done, but a couple of weeks before we went to one of our local hills with our hiker bike harness on, and we did 3 reps of this hill.
Unloaded bike, stupidly.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's like I don't know what you can. I don't know what you can do to prepare for the Grand Canyon. We'll talk about that more in a while. But
Yeah.
I think that the general strength and conditioning stuff, like James doing lots of stuff in the gym, I did lots of stuff in the gym. Miles wise, we didn't really do that many big rides in the run up to this. It was more like the strength stuff.
We did like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like a big one.
Yeah, but I mean, previously we've done, in preparation for Highland Trail, we did a lot more longer rides.
Yeah.
But I just know.
I mean, this one you don't actually pedal that much.
It intervals and long endurance rides aren't going to cut it on this. Like, that's not your priority, is it? It's
I mean,
being
we walked.
physically resilient and strong, and it's much more important.
I think the estimate was like 140 miles walking.
Mm.
The whole thing.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot.
So how'd your shoes hold up?
Yeah.
Fine. Some
Better
of my
than your
socks had
toes.
holes in them.
Your socks did?
Yeah, and then got blood blisters and things on my feet. Just
Did your shoes, were you wearing flats? Or
yeah.
These Shimano flat shoes. I wore clip-ins.
I just bought those.
They're really good.
I've heard.
Yeah, really, really
That's
good.
great to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I have problems with my feet.
Mm-hmm.
I've had like bunions and like sores and stuff. I had a bad injury at the start of the year in an event in Yorkshire. I was worried about my feet, and they've held up pretty good,
Great.
which was nice.
The sole of my shoes have got pretty torn up, but it's not that bad.
No holes through the shoes?
No.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of pictures of that. People would take their shoes and just cracked and disintegrated.
Yeah.
It just eats up shoes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally. And James wore, obviously, flat shoes, flat pedals. And to be honest, I wish I had.
Yeah.
There's some of the descending, like the Oracle Ridge descent. Oh, we're coming off Lemmon, before you go back up on Oracle.
Yeah, Red Ridge.
Yeah, really steep and technical, and going to some of these like switchback corners, and it's like almost track standing around the corners, and it freaked me out. Like with clip-in shoes, it was like I need to get if this doesn't work out, I've got to get my foot off the pedal, and yeah, I was a bit jumpy on some of those sections. Whereas James just rides in flats and
Can pop right off.
Yeah,
Safely. Yeah, that's a big component with flats.
yeah, totally.
I mean, I wear my SPDs very loose. Like
Yeah,
the clips are like looser than normal, especially when they get like dirt and mud and stuff in them. They get a little more touchy, like they don't clip out as easy. So
the dust does that, doesn't it? They get sticky.
Yep. And then you get off and you hike and you get more dust, and then you put it into the clip, and so it's a long-standing debate for Arizona Trail Race on flats or clipless.
But then later on, it was quite hard to pedal,
Right.
especially on a hardtail as well with flats.
Right.
You just get bounced.
Right. Get bounced off the pedals. Yeah. That's my only reservation with flat pedals is when you do get bounced off. I'm afraid I'm going to clip my pedal on something, especially when I get tired and fatigued. Right.
Yeah.
You get so tired and fatigued, and your pedal awareness isn't quite where it usually is.
Yeah.
And you start getting sloppy.
Yeah.
Right? And it could cause a crash or something.
Yeah, I think to be honest, it's probably a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
Like I say, I just on some of the steep tech stuff, it's not so much unclipping. It's like starting again when it's steep.
Yeah.
And trying to get back in your pedals when your bike's just suddenly accelerating because it's steep. It's like that's a bit sketchy.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
Right. So cactus, pokey things, scorpions, rattlesnakes.
The whole shebang, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What'd you see?
On second day, I rode over a rattlesnake.
Oh,
Gave me a bit of a shock at
That's
first.
bikepacking bingo, isn't it?
Yeah.
so was it? Were you like on top of it before you saw it?
Yeah.
Mm.
It was under my second wheel before I realised.
Ooh.
Mm.
It probably was like, "Hey, where'd you come from, man?"
Yeah.
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 So it wasn't coiled or anything.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Is that a sign?
Yes. Yeah. So the rattlesnakes they'll coil up, and it's so that they can get enough energy to strike at you.
Mm.
And so if they're not coiled, they're usually
Really hard for them to accelerate.
They can't
yeah.
accelerate out. So
Okay.
typically you can hear them, rattling well before. But when you're riding, and sometimes if you ride with headphones in or something like some people do, I mean, it's very dangerous to ride with headphones in that area,
Right.
because you can't hear the rattlesnake specifically. And in those tall grasses out there, that could be down in it. So the other thing about the rattlesnakes too is they, and I'm glad I'm telling you all of this afterwards, because rattlesnakes freak me out. And I'm from the desert. I grew up in the desert, and it was just a thing all the time. When it's cold out, moderately cold out, I would say this temperature or lower, they're very slow. Yeah, they don't move very fast.
Yeah.
So it's kind of safer. But when it's really hot and they're like sunbathing, that's when it's more dangerous. But you gotta mess with them. They don't want to like have anything to do with you.
No.
Yeah.
If you just are cool and like, hopefully that one was okay. You didn't squish him. I've done the same thing though. I've run right over one before. And then I'm like, adrenaline's through the roof.
Yeah.
Right? Oh man. So what about scorpions or?
I saw one scorpion, but not that many actually.
Yeah.
Just one.
Tarantulas?
Yeah.
So tarantula.
Cool.
Picked it
Yeah,
up on a
nice to
stick.
see those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, we knew from.
We were debating putting one in our hand because we heard they're quite safe.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a bee sting if it bites you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, from everything I knew about them, and watched some YouTube stuff on tarantulas, and they're quite passive animals, aren't they? They're not aggressive. They don't want to bite you. They don't want to get involved. And
Right.
yeah, really cool to see. You liked seeing that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're docile.
Yeah.
My dad used to, when we were kids, he used to catch them and put them on his shoulders and stuff just to mess with my sister and me,
Yeah.
to freak us out.
Yeah.
And I remember a couple times he lost them. It would jump off or fall off, and it would like run.
You want to know where it is, don't you?
Yeah, and we'd all panic, and me and my sister would panic and jump on the couch and be like, "We are not walking around until you find that tarantula, Dad." So they're pretty harmless.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then all the sticky things. Did you have inflatable mattresses?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we had a really good move was bringing. I mean, I do this anyway. Is like a tent footprint, which is just great because obviously you're protecting your mat, and you've also got a nice little kind of island to sit on away from all the stuff.
Right.
And preparing your stuff and packing stuff up on that really useful thing to have.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We saw a stick insect.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, praying mantis, I think.
We saw praying mantis as well.
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
A stick bug. Yeah, I'm not sure what
Yeah.
they're called, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Where
Oh,
was
we-
that?
It's like
that was
just looks like a
Melina.
stick.
Okay.
Clues in the name. that was in Melina, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were really cool.
Cool.
And yeah, they're funny. Like the mantis and the stick insects, they almost look like a little dog. They're kind of looking at you and thinking about it. They're pretty amazing things.
Yeah. Very different set of bugs than home, huh?
Yeah.
Do you have any bugs where you're from? Like what kind of?
Midges.
Oh,
What are they?
Midges. They're just like yeah.
They are
midges.
hell.
Mosquitoes.
I experienced those in Iceland.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting bad there as well,
Yeah.
don't they? Yeah.
We had tents, thank God.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
there's like a season for them, right? Like mosquito season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from kind of maybe it depends. Obviously, they come out when it gets warm and humid.
Yeah.
So the borders up into Scotland, you're probably talking maybe if you're unlucky
June.
May,
Mhm.
and then they might go through to
August, September.
August. Yeah, August, September. When they're bad, they're bad.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's like because I don't know what they're like in Iceland, but because they're just tiny, And when they come out, they can come out in like literally the millions. And it's like smoke. You know, it's like a mosquito. You can go, oh, and get rid of it. But there's no escape.
It's like a smoke monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're pretty grim.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, even the Scots who live amongst it, it drives them insane.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can't get used to it. It's horrible. So thank goodness they're not here.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No mosquitoes. Yeah, I guess. There's a few in Arizona, but
Yeah.
not really.
Yeah, I mean, insects aren't really a problem here. Well, they're
Those
not.
kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing too bad.
Yeah.
But what else do we saw? Lovely to see longhorn sheep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful. And
That must have been up north, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
in the
Saw it in the
canyon.
Grand Canyon.
Yeah. Whoa.
Saw a few elk, a lot of deer,
Yeah.
cows, but we're used to that one.
Yeah, cows.
So the elk are in their breeding season right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so the males all have, giant.
Yeah.
Did you see some with the giant
Yeah.
antlers?
I thought it was a reindeer.
Yeah. They're huge. I mean, they're
Yeah.
1,000 pounds
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
We were quite surprised, particularly in the canyon. There was so many big animals and deer and elk just like hanging around.
Yeah.
You know, you can
Sitting
walk
on the
up to them.
trail.
And I was thinking, if I was a mountain lion, I'd move here. Like, there's so much stuff to eat.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not an issue in the canyon. Like at Phantom Ranch, we were asking the lady about it, and she was like, "Never seen a mountain lion here before."
Yeah.
Which I was quite surprised at.
There's enough people.
Yeah.
The people are kind of keeping the mountain lions away.
Yeah, they're
I
very
mean,
shy animals, are they?
The
Or-
mountain lion?
Yeah,
Elusive.
yeah,
You don't know it's there. They'll
Yeah.
be right behind you, and you won't know they're there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is a bit creepy.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
they're cats. They're, like think about your house cat
Yeah.
or a house cat, and then think about it,
Yeah.
150 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
They basically do the same thing that the cats do. I've had a friend, actually, side story on mountain lions, who she did the portage. So she went from the south rim to the north rim,
Mm-hmm.
and she started very early in the morning, like before the sun came up, and got part the way down that South Kaibab trail and took a selfie. She was like taking selfies of herself as she was going down. And then she met her husband at the North Rim, and they had they got a cabin and stuff, and she was looking at the photos for the day, and she's scrolling through them, and she looks at one of her selfies and looks over her back shoulder, and she could see eyes in the background.
Wow,
And we
Whoa.
zoom in, and they're mountain lion eyes.
wow.
And it was just right behind her, and she had
Whoa.
no idea.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's the kind of
yeah.
No, it's funny because when I did Colorado Trail Race a few years ago,
yeah.
and people, the local riders were like, understandably a little bit freaked out and nervous about the mountain lions, whereas here, people I've spoken to about them have been like, "Oh, we don't see them. They're not." It's just interesting. There was a very different attitude of them here to Colorado. I don't know why that was. It may have been chance the people I spoke to, but
Yeah.
I think people were pretty afeared with them of Colorado. But here it didn't seem to be.
Yeah. Did you meet Karen Pocock?
I didn't know.
Okay,
No.
so one time she was doing a race up here locally, and she's the best. Shout out Karen. And she was doing one of our local races here called Pinions and Pines.
Yeah.
And I remember she had a story where she came up on a mountain lion, and she
Right.
just said, "I just turned my music up and I yelled at it and just kept on going." And I was like, "You're crazy, first of all, Karen. You're the best, but you're awesome."
Yeah.
But that's essentially what you do. If you see one, the
Yeah.
last thing you can do is run away from it,
Yeah, they're like that.
because it'll see you as prey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to be big and
Yeah.
loud, and it doesn't want to have anything to do with you, because
Yeah.
they're cats, so
Yeah.
they want to just like sneak up on you and get on your back.
Yeah.
I've heard even people wear not mountain bikers, but maybe like hikers and stuff, they wear hats that have like a reflective eyeballs on the back of their head,
Right.
so that it looks like they're you're looking at when the lion's sneaking up on you from behind, it looks like it's looking at you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if that actually works. I'm pretty sure they're not that big of a deal. I think if you're cool and you're like aware of your surroundings,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like most animals. I
Yeah.
think.
Where was it? I had I don't know whether it was just general fatigue or, the concentration of going for days, but we had one night where I really I was convinced they were there. Can you remember that night?
I
don't know why. I just...
I can remember you saying it in the morning.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it at night because I didn't want to freak James out. But and I know it's ridiculous, but I just had this one...
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I just had this one period. I was like, if I was a mountain lion, I'd live here.
Yeah.
It was Highline, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was around Highline Trail. I don't know. I just felt like there was eyes in the woods.
Yes.
I think I was maybe just going a bit mad.
Yeah. So you guys did the actual Highline, right? Because it had
Yeah.
just opened
Yeah.
from the reroute, right?
Yeah.
It was previously rerouted a few days prior to you arriving.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
thought like, well, we're here. We might as well.
Awesome.
And yeah, that was pretty amazing. Apart from the fact that the descending part of that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's more like a fast traverse, isn't it, rather than a flat out descent. But that whole section where it had all been burned, I mean, we must have been some of the first few people through there, and it was amazing. Like, just
Yeah.
it's
Pretty
sad to see.
Pristine, but in a weird way.
Wow.
Yeah, like burned out, but
Looked like snow.
yeah,
Whoa.
it was pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you guys warm enough?
Yeah,
Good.
fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was pretty eerie, but I'm glad we did it. I mean, obviously, everybody ahead had taken the reroute,
Right.
but we did it anyway.
Right.
And the second half was hard. I was like, it's not so bad. The Highline Trail's great. It's fast. Maybe lose an hour or two, but then I can't remember what happened after that. But it was like it got harder and slower.
Hike a bike and climb
Yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Switchbacks.
Up to Washington Park after that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then
That
you-
was it.
You go up onto the Mogollon Rim.
Yeah.
There's like a cut
Yeah. That was hard.
of just rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just rocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's an old like railroad on the right side there. That's an old defunct. It was a scam of like in like the 1900s. Some guy back east convinced some investors to build a railroad because there was some like mining operation or something. I guess is that the story in that area, and then just ran away with all their money. Like
Right.
took off with all their money.
Yeah.
And so that's why they like. I think that's why that area exists and why it's all like blown out so that we can the riders can access it through that area
Right.
to get up onto the Mogollon Rim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're jumping ahead a little bit on that. I want to go back to a post that you said that I read that I thought your posts were great. Like, and so maybe this will stimulate a couple memories. But this is when you reached the 300 at Picket Post.
Yeah.
So we finally reached the 300 finish at Picket Post. It's been 6 days of being frozen, boiled to death, thirsty, hungry, spiked by stuff. Why are the plants so vicious here?
Yeah.
We've had massive climbs and huge single track descents. We have decided to not roll the dice any further. Only joking. The next milestone is that big old hole in the ground. James is hell bent on finishing the 800. Let's just hope we don't run out of time. It's extremely slow going. No risks are being taken within reason. And this place is extremely unforgiving. So that pretty much sums up that first 300 miles. Were you guys just feeling okay? You were feeling beat? What was it like?
Extremely mentally tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it was one of those ones where people had said, "Oh, after the 300, things get a bit easier," and I'll find
They
them.
did for the first. They did until Phoenix area.
Yeah.
From Picket Post to like through Gold Canyon, I think. And
Yeah.
there's like a store through, there's like a golf course,
Yeah.
if I recall.
Yeah, and there's bashers on the corner, and we'd resupply. I mean, again, it's like poor planning. We'd resupplied at a gas station somewhere, and bought a load of junk, and then went past bashers, and it's like, oh, why didn't we stop here?
Yeah.
Like good supermarket and
Yeah.
good quality food and stuff, but that's just
And cheaper.
yeah, and cheaper. That's just one of those things, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the Picket Post. We were up there, up high on the ridge there, and it was beautiful, and the sun was going down, and you could see.
We just want to get to Superior though.
Yeah, but it was Kearney, wasn't it? That was
No.
down to the right.
No.
The Picket Post.
No, Picket Post Superior.
Was it Superior?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting lost off now. But basically, you could see the town over to the right, like way below, And we just had this feeling of like, we're going down there now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. Like, it heads off like northwest almost. And then that descent, again, the clip-in shoes, sketchy.
Yeah.
You know, all those really tight.
How's the Kearney?
Yeah. But that was after Picket Post. Am I getting mixed up?
I think
No, you're getting mixed up.
Superior. I think Superior is after Picket Post.
Yeah, it's
right. And Kearney is by the ADOT yard at the Gila River. So that's before.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm getting mixed up there.
And you can get like a pizza delivery.
Yeah.
You know about that? Did
Everyone
you get one?
said about that.
Yeah. Did you partake? No.
We went there. We actually did go to that pizza place.
Oh, did you?
But we needed food as well.
Right. So you guys went into Kearney.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
We just lost your sound, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a break. So, where were we?
Well, we've just come out of the rim.
What?
The Mogollon rim?
Oh
yeah.
Mogollon.
Mogollon.
Well, there's that bit between, I want to hear about the bit between Picket Post and, like, I guess,
Payson.
coming into Payson. Yeah, because I don't know a lot about that section. I haven't ever been on that section. What is it like, the riding in that area?
From Picket Post to around like Phoenix on the outskirts, it's just like 35 miles of road and like gravel tracks.
Yeah.
And after that, it just gets really rough. For another.
That was
20
nice, though, wasn't it?
miles.
Because we got a bit of progress there, and
Yeah.
that felt good. But then there was the climbing. Again, talking about the flat pedals clip-in issue. It's like bouldery and it's not steep. But how James is staying on his bike on there with flat pedals, I don't know.
Yeah. So I have another Instagram quote here from I think Jake's Corner Bar was somewhere in here.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, that descent.
4 peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, blimey.
I was on that day after Superior.
Yeah.
2 days after. That was a 35-mile climb, I think.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's coming back. And it was so exposed. And we were there exactly the wrong time.
Yeah.
It was red hot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's funny, it's like parts of it were steep, but a lot of it wasn't that steep, but it's like that hard pack with the really tiny gravel chips. It doesn't have to be very steep and you just can't get traction on it.
Yeah.
It just makes it hard.
It was like 10% for a long time.
Yeah, I suppose it was pretty steep.
Yeah.
So
So was a lot of pushing there? A lot of hike a bike or
No, it's just traveling like 3 miles an hour.
yeah.
yeah, it's
For a long
staying on
time.
your bike and trying to work out whether it's faster to walk. It was,
Yeah.
What kind of bikes did you guys both ride?
I rode an orange clockwork hardtail,
Okay.
which was rough
Yeah.
because it's a hardtail.
What kind of fork?
Fox 34 grip,
Okay. Did you have 120 millimeters?
130.
130.
So it's quite a big fork for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I think it's the right fork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
nice slack head angle as well for the steep stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I was on a giant Anthem.
Which is probably a faster bike for the route.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a full suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 110, 105. But obviously it's more of a race bike, so a bit steeper head angle and fantastic efficiency and comfort, which I think it was a great bike for the route. But when it did get steep, coming out the 4 peaks, that descent was pretty full on. And, without a drop of
Especially
post.
ruts.
Without a drop of post, quite hard, not getting pitched forward, and that was a bit sketchy at points.
Yeah.
But that was a great descent, wasn't
No
it?
dropper post is tough.
Yeah,
You both had no droppers?
no
Yeah.
droppers, no. Yeah,
Risky boys.
yeah. I mean, we couldn't have got everything on the bikes. There's
Right.
just no way.
Right. And you had less capacity than on your frame bag for food,
Yeah.
Rich, because
Yeah,
of
but
that.
we both have custom frame bags from Restrap, which filled as much space as we possibly could, and they were really good.
Right. Shout out Restrap. I think
Yeah,
that's one of
yeah,
your sponsors, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Restrap bags have been really, really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Great.
Yeah, had no problems with them.
And you had front rolls and seat bags,
Yeah.
the whole lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And did you have like any kind of, you had a top tube bag and any kind of other like
Yeah, and
feed bags?
bottle bags on the bars, straps of bars.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
like the feed
Yeah.
bag type things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that worked well. Yeah, just two. I mean, but before we came, James is really into trail riding and wants to get more into doing some trail riding, perhaps downhill racing. And
Yeah,
I've done one.
sorry,
I've done.
yeah,
a few
you've done one.
downhills.
Yeah, podium at your first attempt.
look at that.
And I'd given him the choice before we came. It's like you can use your old orange hardtail, which is a great basic aluminium hardtail and great geometry, and you can get a trail bike, or I can get you something lighter and full suspension for this. So he went with the trail. He went with wanted a trail bike.
Yeah,
So I know I could use the hardtail for this. So.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it swings around. I mean, it swings around about. It's like more capacity in the frame and all that kind of stuff. But both good bikes for the route
Cool.
at different times.
Yeah.
And I lost the don't know quite how it happened, but the lockout lever on my rear shock.
Ooh.
It's got a pin that holds the lever in, and I looked down and that pin had gone. So I had no lockout on those big climbs, and it's just going like that. And it's like,
When
So-
did that happen? Or like halfway in? Or?
yeah,
Oh,
a bit of a nightmare, but
Oh.
hey ho,
yeah.
more thread lock needed.
Yeah, totally. Like everything vibrates loose
Yeah.
or wears holes through your bags
Yeah,
on this sort of thing.
yeah.
Right? You just have to expect like things are going to get holes in it. Things
Yeah.
are going to break and fall off.
I mean, mine was a nice new fancy carbon full suspension bike. It's not so fancy anymore.
It's
It's just scraped to hell, and there's broken bits and bits are falling off, and
Scratched carbon.
yeah, scratch carbon, banging it off the canyon walls as you kind of try not to fall off.
yeah, you're right. Oh man. Okay, so I want to read this quote from Jake's bar. After 3 days living off peanut butter, fig rolls, and nuts, we finally reached the awesome Jake's Corner Bar, where we received a warm welcome and a proper meal. That was a big hop over some huge climbs and very rough ground. Now over the halfway point, we've covered a lot of the roughest ground. Calories and hydration levels got very low, but motivation and desire to finish remains high. So good reset at Jake's Bar, huh? It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
It wasn't nice going back out there though.
No, but I mean, the thing is with Jake's bar, it's like I didn't know about it. We only heard about it on the trail from other people, from through hikers.
Yeah.
And they're like,
then,
you're going to
and
Jake's
even
Bar.
then, it was just like a rumor.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a rumor. It's like we got to the stage where we weren't believing anything anymore. But you came out of that amazing descent out of the Four Peaks. Really was fantastic. And then you had like 3 or 4 miles of road, and it was just, I mean, it's so little road on this anyway, but it was like 3 or 4 miles of gradual downhill with a tailwind.
Yeah.
And it was like you saw the sign for Jake's Corner, and it's like, yes, we're gonna get some proper food. And we had burgers and
we
chips.
we were winning in life at that
Yeah,
point.
we were. That was like, we've done it,
That's amazing.
and it was cool. Like, it was a good bar. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, good atmosphere, and
Nice food.
yeah, nice food. So shout out to them.
Cool.
Yeah.
So then a big reset, and then you head into Payson after that, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For morning.
Yeah, we slept up high above Payson,
Mm-hmm.
and that was an all right night's sleep, wasn't it? That was pretty
Yeah,
good.
I think so.
Still pretty warm.
Yeah.
And into Payson, that's where that amazing diner was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we came into Payson, and James was like, let's stop here. And it was just like a basic looking greasy spoon diner. We went in and it was just fantastic. I can't remember the name of it, but what a place.
The woman who was serving was great. She had a really strong New York accent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She was a character. And
In Payson,
yeah.
of all places.
Yeah. And it had like omelette with green chili and sauteed
Mozzarella.
potatoes. And, yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good.
I had a nice like berry saute thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Pancakes. It was
Nice.
nice.
All the syrup.
Yeah.
drinking the syrup.
Yeah. About 5 pints of coffee. And,
Drinking creamer.
Did you have a lot of people look at you weird when they saw how much food you ordered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You had to explain what was happening.
Yeah. I think the thing is on this whole route, it's like people expect to see you disheveled people. It's not.
Right.
It's not unusual, is it? It's kind of accepted. And there was these. Was it in Payson? I can't remember. It was one of the supermarkets, and I was wandering around trying to like find stuff, and there was some young people kind of looking. You could see they were like looking and pointing and stuff. And eventually, one of them come over and said, "You've got to be on the Arizona Trail."
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Payson, actually. Yeah.
yeah.
So did you ship? I heard it was kind of popular to ship stuff to Payson this year.
Right.
To pick up hiking poles and things to prepare for the cold weather in the Grand Canyon. Did you guys carry that stuff along the way? Or?
We carried it.
Okay. From the start?
Sort of.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we did ship some stuff back because we didn't need it, and bought some other stuff.
And so what was that? What kind of stuff did you ship back?
A tent inner, because
What is that?
the inside of a tent.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought I'd pack the outside of my tent. Absolute schoolboy error.
Oh, okay.
So it was useless.
Mm.
So it was just like in the hurry of leaving. I don't know how I did that, but I did. So we shipped that back, and it was pointless carrying it.
Right.
And so, yeah, without shelter. But then when we got to Flagstaff, went to the consignment store and picked up a couple of bivvies.
Okay.
So we had to have something.
Oh, so you didn't pack the rainfly?
Yes.
That's the outer?
Yes.
I see. You just packed like the mesh part?
Yeah.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
when did you realize that? Like the first night?
When it was raining in Colossal Caves. I was like, oh, please stop raining.
You pulled it out like, we're good.
Yeah.
No, we're not good.
We're not good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just...
And used the footprint of the tent as a slight shelter.
Yeah,
Okay.
that worked.
Made it work.
Yeah.
There's some like ramadas and stuff around that area too, I think. You probably could have if you didn't have the footprint, but you made it work.
Yeah. Just, silly mistake. But
Yeah. So you bought some bivvies, shipped back your tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Payson.
Yeah. But,
Cool.
like, bivvies, it worked. It worked.
Just
Right.
about.
It just about, yeah.
Did what you have to do there.
Yeah, just that extra bit of warmth.
Yeah. Okay. And so then we're bringing you into in up the rim like we talked about. So on that Mogollon rim, kind of that's Highline Trail, the hike a bike up, and then you're up. Did that feel good? Kind of like you're making progress?
I think we thought we'd make more progress.
Yeah.
I think we thought it'd be easier. But I think it was just because we weren't actually on the rim yet. We were still going over the top.
Yeah. And it was that same thing of like, this isn't steep, but it's so slippery, it's hard to keep traction.
I mean, at that point, even like a mile hike a bike was just, we were complaining about the whole way up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was tough, because I think psychologically we'd expected that it was going to be easier. And it wasn't as hard as what we'd done, but it was still wasn't that easy bit we'd been expecting at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's bring you into like Mormon Lake. You're getting near Flagstaff.
Oh.
Yeah. Was there some sort of weather situation that
Oh,
happened
there sure
at this
was.
point? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there really
Yeah.
was. I mean, I'd seen that there was a system coming in, and it was that kind of like the weather front where the sky's just gradually going milky and the clouds
Dark
slowly
blue.
building, and yeah, as we got towards Mormon Lake, the weather just went mental. Like, it was torrential, absolutely torrential, freezing cold, heavy rain, and I think even if it had a full tent, it would have been
Grim.
nigh on impossible to pitch. You were just, good waterproofs on and everything. We were just soaked, completely
Yeah.
saturated.
My
And
fingers turned blue.
Oh,
yeah, and it was awful. Like that was a really sketchy moment. And thank goodness the weather hadn't come in even an hour earlier, because that whole section was so exposed. It's like saying before. It's like there's
The trees just don't provide shelter.
nothing provides shelter.
Right.
There's nothing to hide under.
right.
That was a real... I was aware of that before it came, but it was a bit of a shocker. That did make me nervous, and especially when that happened. So we got into Mormon Lake, and there was the fire station. We knocked on the door there because we just basically need to get some kind of shelter.
Sure.
And
No one answered.
no one answered, so we carried on into town. And of all the places, you chose it, didn't you?
Yeah. It was like a weird farm building barn that had a light on, and it was the only real one that had like bright light on. So I went there and got welcomed in nicely.
Knocked on the door, and a guy called Fred, massive respect to Fred.
Shout
opened the
out
door.
Fred.
Yeah, Fred
from Mormon Lake.
Fred, our saviour.
Oh, we
He's
owe
an
you one.
artist, and we walked in, and downstairs is his art studio, and it is an old converted like farm building,
Yeah.
and upstairs it was all like oak beams and a big
Yeah.
fire on. It's like, oh my god, Fred.
It was nice.
Did you think you were hallucinating it
Yeah.
for a moment in time?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we knew that there was toilets and there was a laundry just down the road.
Yeah.
But, you know, we knocked on the right door. I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
of all the people,
Wow.
you know, and he what a good guy.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah. And when we sat talking all night, we just got on so well, didn't we? And
Yeah.
like hot showers and food and yeah, it
Spare
was
clothes.
spare clothes. I mean, it was just amazing.
That's
that
awesome.
was a real danger point, I've got to say.
Right.
Now, I think even if we'd gone and hidden in the toilets or the laundry or whatever, I
Still
think
would have
the
been
hit would have been
freezing.
a bit too much. Because you know, it's like when it's just above freezing and you're saturated. That's the worst. That's what gives me like nightmares.
Sure.
Doing these types of things.
And you just can't get dry or sheltered.
No,
You
you
just-
it's very
warm.
hard to warm
And
up.
then, yeah, you just can't. Your body temperature drops.
Yeah.
You go hypothermic.
Yeah, I mean that was where it was.
Yeah.
You know, it was not a good situation at all.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was watching your guys' dots at that point. Like, are they going to persist? Is this going to be it? Because I was
Yeah.
looking at the weather and I was like, this
Yeah.
is not, I know the weather around here and it,
yeah, that was a bad one.
yeah.
Yeah. But we were told that was like the worst kind of stuff you get around here.
Yeah, it was a
For
bad. It was
wetness.
from everything I understand. Like that was as bad as it gets.
Right. Wow.
You know, but beyond the freezingness. But I can take freezing. It's uncomfortable. I can take snow. That's fine. But getting wet just above freezing's the worst. Like
Right.
it's impossible. You know,
Right.
even with good quality clothing, in that level of rain, you're stuffed, aren't
Right.
you? It's yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then after that, we'd heard that we took a road diversion because it would have been impassable on the Messer with death mud. So
oh, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
so-
section of the Arizona Trail
yeah,
Yeah.
is miserable.
yeah. So we took the road to
Marshall Lake.
yeah, Marshall Lake. You've got a good memory to Marshall Lake, and that section was really nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That
It was-
must have been Lake Mary Road, maybe,
Yeah,
to Marshall.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we felt like we dodged a bullet big time, so we felt
Yeah.
quite upbeat after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
And then reset in Flagstaff, maybe? Did you guys,
Yeah.
when you made it into town?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
We went
that-
to the Super 8.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we love Super 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing like I mean, your hotel standards when you're a bikepacker,
Yeah.
your hotel standards get very low.
Has it
Yeah.
got a bed? Has it got a shower? Is it warm?
Right.
Anything else,
Right.
don't care.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was a Chipotle nearby, which is our favorite fast food.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny when I friends or family or whatever complain about hotels. I'm like, oh, like, oh yeah. Does it have running water? Do I not have to filter out of the gross cattle thing?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, another post about the torrential rain, and then the weather cleared. You returned, and then did you bring enough warm weather gear? Like knowing, like after this moment, knowing you were going to be wet and cold, or there was the potential for that. Did you go out and get more gear? Or?
Well, I'd really checked, you know, obviously nervously checking the weather situation and trying to suss out what we were going to face. And even though I knew it was going to get extremely cold until you got to the North Rim, I knew we were going to be dry. So we came to Flagstaff, and that was a bit of a pain. Like coming again, it's our lack of knowledge of the area. There's the cycle bypass the other side of the highway, but we came along the road, and it's like every 100 meters there's a highway crossing, and it took ages to get into town. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And I went and picked up trying to locate some bivvies was really tough. You know, there's not many places, surprisingly, to buy that kind of thing. There was REI, and they had a black diamond hoop bivvy, and I was like, you know what, I don't really want to spend that money, but I'll have it. And I got there, and they're like, oh no, there's a glitch on the system, we don't actually have it in stock. I was like, oh man.
We have this emergency one.
Yeah, we've got this emergency one. That just blows my mind. Why do people buy, you know, I can't remember the brand, you'll know them.
Soul.
Yes, why do people buy those? Like, it's an emergency bivvy that's just a little bit less cost than a good bivvy. And why would you want to take out a bivvy in an emergency anyway?
Yeah.
You'd have a bivvy. You'd have a good one. But that's all they had. So I was like, well, I've got to get that. And then we got a OS one from the consignment store.
Which was really grim.
Which is... But...
So who got the Soul?
I got the Soul.
Okay.
It was the best. It was like the best. Who's going to get the worst choice here? It's like hard to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty tight too, the Souls.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of them.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not shout out Soul. Sorry. I don't know why.
Well, what are you going to get for $35, you know?
Yeah. Oh no, this is the upgraded one.
Oh, okay.
The more breathable one, apparently.
Right, the Escape bivvy, I think is what it's called. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or it's like green and foil.
Yeah, it was an orange one with foil, but it's like a little
Okay.
bit thicker.
Right.
And they claim it's more breathable, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were your sleep kits from that point on, huh?
Yeah.
They're lighter.
And wait, because all of that in the morning took ages. Like, just getting around the town with our lack of knowledge of the town and all the crossings, and eventually going to Peace Outfitters, who were really cool. Like, and the guy there was kind of, shouldn't perhaps say it, but he was like, yeah, they're pretty poor, but that's all we got. It's like, well, I've got to take one.
Yeah.
But then the consignment store, I mean, I think great. I wish we had consignment stores in the UK. I think they're brilliant. We spent a lot of time sifting through stuff to find stuff that was useful, and got like a balaclava and a neck warmer and
Gloves.
More gloves.
Thermal trousers we didn't use.
Yeah, we didn't end up using. I don't know why. I think we're just too cool to put them on.
Yeah.
Walking poles.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's definitely the way to go. You know, if you're doing this like workout way, getting in and out of Flagstaff quick, get your poles. Get, you know, like $5 and $10 for a balaclava, and we needed it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and that works out well.
That gear can get so expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a barrier for entry for a lot of bikepackers.
Absolutely.
Is the cost of the gear. And
Yeah.
so you don't have anything, you don't have like secondhand type store?
They don't do. I mean, this is like business plan forming here.
Yeah, for sure.
A consignment store in the UK would be brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why they don't exist. It totally makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you know, most people, they buy all this stuff and then they go out and do it once, and then they don't like it.
Yeah.
Or their family doesn't like it, or their wife or their whatever doesn't like it. And then they just get rid of it, all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, people can take advantage of that.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. Now, I don't know much about them, but I think I heard one of the ones in Colorado, they're kind of associated with young people's charities and, you know, outward bounds activities, and they make a donation, and I think it's a great system.
Yeah. Your wheels are turning.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, you know, at this point, I was looking at the weather, and I saw a storm coming in, and I saw snow coming in. And I was really thinking, like, oh my God, these guys are going to make it this far. And if they have to stop because of snow, it's going to be such a bummer.
But I mean, I'd interpreted the weather, and as it turned out correctly, that was going to come when we hit the North Rim.
Great.
But,
just in time.
Yeah, but I mean, it was more the bit from here to Toussian. I don't know if I got the pronunciation right of that.
Yeah, Toussian.
Toussian.
Yeah. Yep.
105-mile stretch. Obviously going down, is it Mount Elgin?
Eldon.
Little Eldon.
Little
That's
Eldon.
called.
Yep. Little Eldon.
I knew fine well we couldn't make that 105 miles or whatever it was in one hit.
Right.
And I knew we were going to have to sleep out there in the desert.
Right.
And I also knew it was the coldest night of the current forecast. And that's why we got the stuff from the consignment store.
13 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Oh, it was...
In the desert, it's icy.
Yeah, that was... But I mean, it was like that fear when you go to the dentist. Like, I don't want to do this, but I've got to.
Yeah.
And we had no... We couldn't hang around. It's like, we've just got to go.
Right.
And yeah, that was...
So you were... Where did you camp? Somewhere near like Cedar Ranch or Babbitt Ranch area?
Past Cedar Ranch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got like 45 miles away from Toussian.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're like in the high desert up on Babbitt Ranch. You have not gotten back up into the trees yet, is that
Yeah.
right? You were kind of down low.
We were down low.
Yeah, it's still 5,000 feet elevation,
Yeah.
so you're still high and it's still cold, but it's like the desert. It's kind of a weird
Yeah.
spot.
I mean, it was up to that point. It was absolutely beautiful, you know. Like, but when we came round the side of the mountain here, and we descended, we were both kind of like feeling really upbeat and warm. You know, had everything on. It was like tin foil in the shoes, plastic bags on our feet warmers.
Yeah.
They weren't a treat, and we're like, yes, we're doing it. It's all good. And then when we made the descent, it just got so cold. Like, and it wasn't just your extremities. It was like I felt cold, and that's not good.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't actually have like any time in the warmth really, because we left Flagstaff at 2 o'clock that day.
We left late. We had no choice.
Yeah.
Had stuff to sort out and buy. And all
Yeah,
that
and I
crap.
mean, I think the day before we thought we were gonna scratch.
Yeah. But then, like that night out there was extreme, wasn't it? It was so cold. Yeah, that was a bit of a low point.
Dang.
They woke up and it was like ice inside your bivvy.
Oof.
You know,
Yeah.
it was tough.
So did you just wait till the sun came up, just counting the minutes till the sun came up, or did you get up and get going before that?
We
we
went to
couldn't have,
went
I
to
don't
bed
think.
at about 1 o'clock, so 6 hours sleep. So
Oof.
But it was in and out sleep, wasn't it? And then the sun came up, and I was like, look, let's just, because it wasn't a proper sleep at all. We were just shivering.
Yeah.
And then the sun came up, and there was a little bit of warmth, and I said to James, like, let's just go back to sleep for an hour or two. I think we need it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the best thing we could have done in that situation.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was really tough.
Dang.
Yeah. I mean, for a 13-year-old, I think that was about as unpleasant as hard as it could get. I can't believe we wanted to continue after that.
Grand Canyon.
Yeah, well, and then. So yeah, a massive respect to him for not wanting to get out of that. I think a lot of
Nowhere
sane
really
people,
to go there.
Yeah, well, yeah. But, just getting through that night and just going, I'm not risking being in that situation again with the forecast coming up. But I guess I knew the snow was coming, but I'm okay with snow. That doesn't faze me too much.
Kind of bounces off you a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Better than rain, right?
Yeah.
and that extreme, and you've got that extreme clear sky and nighttime and those temperatures. It's not going to get as cold as that when it's snowing.
Right. It's going to hold the heat.
It holds the heat a little
Right.
bit.
Absolutely.
Whereas that night out there, it was like, that's as cold as we could possibly do
Right.
or expect, I
Right.
think. And we're kind of right on that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was something else.
It's also, I think, geographically, it's like the heat sink. Like those become the coldest areas.
Yeah. It's like a temperature inversion, isn't it?
Yeah. So on CTR, I had one of my worst nights, coldest nights. Not 9 degrees Fahrenheit. It was maybe like 30 degrees Fahrenheit, but it was the same sort of thing where it was like this big open area. And I thought in my head it would be warmer. I thought like, this is a good spot. It's not up in the mountains. And it was just way colder. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's just in the dark and not having the knowledge of the area. It's just like your best guess, isn't it? It's like, where do we stop? What do we... If we'd stopped, I think...
Hindsight.
Yeah, there was a bit of higher ground near Cedar Ranch, and I think that was definitely warmer, but hey-ho.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, so Toussian, did you guys got to Toussian? Did you hit the McDonald's? Did you hit a hotel?
We took
Hit
a
a
hotel.
shower? Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
The Canyon Lodge or whatever it's called. I mean,
Yeah, the shop was really expensive at the gas station.
Yeah.
yeah, that
I
was a
mean,
bit of an error.
It was £8 for a bottle of water.
Yeah,
Whoa.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a Mexican. Went to a Mexican, didn't we? And
Yeah, that was nice.
that was really nice. Really, really nice.
Casa Bonita.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was good.
A lot of food, a lot of calories.
Yeah, that's what you
Yeah.
need.
Beans, rice.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd heard like, oh, don't go to the canyon because it's expensive. But that Texaco garage, how they have the nerve to charge what they charge. But it was like I was like, oh, just got a resupply.
Right.
So we spent a load of money on not particularly great stuff. And then when we
Not that
got
much either.
sorry,
Not that much either.
no. Then we got the canyon store. I just went and got some Dr Pepper as a cold drink, and yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, should have gone there, but you just don't know these things, do you? When you're blind to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you disassemble your bikes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and strap them on.
Yeah. It's,
I saw some pictures. You guys went for like the kind of the side strap approach.
Yeah, well, that's the hiker bike harness that we've got.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
ooh.
I see.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was, yeah, a whole.
It was the wrong choice of kit.
Well, the hiker bike harness is good for.
It's really good for like shorter things.
Yeah, and it's really
Like
fast.
an hour max.
Yeah,
Because you don't have to take you take what, front tire off only?
you've got to take the wheels off. I mean, that's the rules.
Okay.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so. But the bike ends up horizontal as opposed to like the backpack approach where it's vertical.
Right.
But the issue with it being, it's like the straps. It's a great product. It's useful. I've done events where it's worked really well, and it's tiny, and you just have it on your top tube, and you unfold it and clip it onto your chainstay and your frame with some straps that you've already kind of pre-attached.
Yeah.
And you just put it on like a backpack. It's really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've done it in the Pyrenees. I did a hiker bike event there where it was like a couple of hours, and that was fine.
Yeah.
But 20 hours.
20.
It needs more
32 hours in the canyon.
32 hours in the canyon. I mean, we slept at Cottonwood.
You
But
split it up, right?
Yeah.
You did the.
Got about 5 hours sleep, I think
yeah,
it was.
So you descended, hiked through the box, through Phantom
yeah.
to Cottonwood.
Went to Phantom for hot chocolate and bagel. That was really cool.
Nice.
Lovely place.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. And then we carried on to Cottonwood at the 14-mile mark. I mean, that's a heck of a long way
Yeah.
with that on your back. But with that, I mean, we debated this thing of backpack versus harness
I
all
think
the way
the
through.
backpack would have been
Possibly, yeah, but I don't think
would have been more comfortable.
I think it would have been, but I don't think anything is comfortable doing that.
That's what I've heard.
It's an impossible task, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just so hard.
It's
Yeah.
so slow.
Yeah.
I mean, we were hiking for about 15 minutes and got about 100 meters done.
Yeah, it just takes so long.
Just the death
Do you mind-
march.
Do you mind
Yeah.
if I just stop and go to the toilet?
No,
then?
I got to go too. Let's take a break.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And we're back. So, the canyon, the legendary canyon is somewhat the thing of myth and legend for most people. People say it's the hardest thing they've ever done. Multiple people have said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'd agree.
It holds up.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredibly hard, and it was a weird emotions because you get to the rim, and it's like, for me, it's been a bucket list thing to see the Grand Canyon, like, all my life. And
It's not really happiness when you finish it, it's just relief.
yeah. But I mean, when you first see it, it's like, that is,
It doesn't look real.
yeah.
You can't really think about it, or it's not it's so spectacular it doesn't really look real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like I couldn't believe it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, it just,
This is like when you first see it, when you're coming in at the beginning.
Yeah.
yeah.
That just
Yeah.
the picture that's painted in front of you almost.
Vastness.
Yeah, and it just because of the scale of it and the light, it literally, I almost didn't believe it. Like,
Whoa.
it was too spectacular to even
Yeah.
be blown away by. I can't describe the emotion, but it was. And then in the back of your mind, you've got the trepidation of what you're just about to do.
Yeah, like
And
you see the North Rim, it's like, how am I going to the bottom of there and back out?
yeah, I mean, we pictured it in kind of terms of where we live, kind of to the north of Newcastle. It's like a small town, and then you've got you picture where 21 miles is, the other side of the city, to the south. It's quite a long way,
Yeah.
and it's like fairly flat, and it's roads and paths, and you just think we're going to walk that distance, but hang on, it's not just that distance. It's like a vertical mile down.
Yeah.
And over all that kind of rough ground, then up out, and it's just, yeah.
It's hard to picture.
It's hard to picture, and it's like hard to get your head around doing it. And all those emotions are going through your head as you start to descend, and you realise just how hard it is, just how slow it is.
Yeah.
And, I'd been advised, to take it very slowly on the way down, and it's so easy to stumble, fall, trip, and you've got all that weight on your back.
We almost did quite a few times.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the first half a mile, I was really...
You were a bit freaked out, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in pain.
Oh, yeah. From
Yeah.
the exposure to?
Just from my back and my shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
Just digging in and stuff.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was pretty intimidating.
Well, and you have to get yourself out of there. That's the most intimidating thing.
Yeah,
You're-
completely.
You're committing into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You haven't got any option once you're down there. I mean, the fastest way out is the North Rim.
Yeah. Nobody's going to
nobody's gonna dig you out.
get
are
you
they?
out.
Yeah,
Pay
Everybody
like-
down there knows that they have to get themselves out.
Yeah.
yeah. It's a
Could pay like
strange.
50,000 for an airlift.
Yeah,
Right.
we might have nearly done at points, but we got down the Colorado River. I mean, that was just before dark. We set off way too late, sorting out the camping permit, and
Right.
I hadn't clicked that the office was a bit further away, and all that stuff took time, and disassembling the bikes, but we got down the Colorado River just before dark, and it was like the descending was killing your quads, like that constant braking.
Anti-knee joints.
Yeah, that was super hard. And we got down the Colorado River just at dark, and you had how many miles past there? Another
7.
another 7 to
Well,
Cottonwood.
no. 8.
Was it 8? Yeah, 7 or 8 miles to Cottonwood, and
Then it was already like 7 o'clock.
Ugh.
yeah, and it's like you can't sleep. You have to be on a designated campsite.
Right.
And it was like, oh, this isn't... I was thinking of a midnight finish. It's like, this is not going to be a midnight finish. And also had this... foolishly had this perception of the canyon being... the bottom bit being flatter, and it's not.
It's just a gradual climb for 14 miles.
Yeah, and up and down, and... yeah. Oh.
Do you feel like it was someone else that did it? Like when you think back on it? Like, do you feel like, yeah, that was me? Or you're like, that's some other person
Yeah.
in an out-of-body
It
experience?
just doesn't really bear thinking about.
Yeah. Painful. Incredibly painful. And we got to Cottonwood at like 3 a.m. And I was like, we're going to have a proper... like the hit to our bodies was so huge. It was like...
We just couldn't get a night's sleep though.
yeah, we had to get some sleep. There was no... but I was aware of the snow coming in and the time it was going to take to get out,
Yeah.
which again was vastly underestimated. But I think that one of the things that hit me, certainly going through the bottom part, and even more so going up, is how dangerous it is.
And we were on the safest trail.
Yeah, and we were on apparently the safest trail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
I think it's mainly just because you have like a 6-foot wide bike swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
I
just
saw
like,
the pictures.
yeah, it's hitting off cliff edges, like 400-foot drops.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
I really wasn't ready for it at all, especially on the climb out. Some of those steep bits. Well, it's very steep getting up and out, but
Like 40% gradient
yeah, and
the whole
like
time.
cliff overhanging, 6-foot wide path, and then 400-foot drops to one side. I wasn't ready for that. I mean, I'm pretty good with heights, but I was getting a bit.
Some of the
freaked out.
bits were quite freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and I've heard a lot of people do die in there as well.
Yeah.
It's like-
People taking
it's-
pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one a week in summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the number we'd heard.
That's crazy.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And again, it's like perceptions of something, famous tourist trail. I don't know why, but I had it in my head that it wasn't going to be quite as extreme as that. And that, those big exposed sections, maybe there was fences or something, but there isn't. It was pretty
Scary.
intense. Yeah, it's scary at times.
Yeah.
And you're getting tired and you're starting to wobble around a bit. And
Yeah.
it's like,
And when your legs are about to give out.
And there's other people, right?
Yeah.
Like
and
trying to move
some
around.
of them just wouldn't move.
Mm.
Some of them were just so tired themselves they just couldn't
Yeah.
move. And you're having to swing your bike around
it was,
right on the
yeah.
edge.
But then that last, was it the last 3 or 4 miles?
That runner barging past me.
Yeah, some guy just came. I mean, that was very unusual. The community in there is amazing.
Yeah.
So supportive. And
One of them offered to carry my bike out.
Whoa.
yeah, we were like, no way. Get disqualified. John would be straight onto that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But the last 3 or 4 miles, it's like, because you can see the rim up above you, but it's very hard to get any scale.
Right.
And looking, we use Far Out, brilliant. That app is amazing.
Oh, for water and
Which is
Yeah.
just as a general reference.
It's like for meters.
Yeah,
The meters were kind of...
ascending and descending. It was useful for that.
oh.
But you got to the 3 or 4 miles to the North Rim, and by this point we'd realised it's like half a mile an hour stuff. And that, I think, what was the ascent of that? Like 1,200 or 1,300 meters
4,500 meters in 4 miles.
feet.
Yeah, 4,500 feet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Whoa.
So it's like what I was comparing it to was thinking about where my dad lives in the Lake District, which is a kind of a mountain area in the west of England. You've got Skiddaw, which is a pretty famous big hill. It's one of the highest hills there, and you've got about, I think, 700 or 800 meters of straight ascent, and it's steep and it's big, and it's above the town. And even though we're in this enclosed space in the canyon, I'm picturing Skiddaw and going, in the next 4 miles, we're going up that twice. It was just blowing my
Yeah.
mind.
The amount of climbing.
The amount of climbing in such
And the
a
thing is,
short space.
You can see the rim as well, and it just doesn't seem to get closer.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, in the Skiddaw, you see it as like a big...
Lump, almost.
a big, but it's like got weather and humidity and clouds, and you get a scale of it. Whereas here with the air being clear, it was like you can just see the rim there, but that rim is like twice the height of that mountain that I was using as a reference.
Right.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So just don't look up.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
don't look, just keep trying to move.
Yeah, and it's from what I recall, because I've never done it with a bike. I hiked it a few times,
Yeah.
and you look up there and you're like, where does the trail? It's like a sheer cliff.
Yeah.
Where do I even? How does this work? I don't understand.
Switchbacks for miles.
Yeah, and then you get up there and you look back and you're like, oh, wow, how did that happen? How did I get here?
Yeah.
And then there's a
Yeah.
couple of spots, Coconino Overlook, I think,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you can see the San Francisco peaks, the mountains off in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you guys were there just like a couple days prior.
Yeah. It's
It gives you that perspective on,
Yeah.
like, we're covering distance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. It's a long way back, isn't it? It's,
Yeah, we're making this happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's the frustrating thing. It's like we got those markers of obviously on the GPS and on Far Out and seeing the distance, but the sheer desperation that we felt on those last few miles was
2
just,
miles took 2.5 hours.
Yeah. It's just I know it's not very far, but that's not the point.
I mean, you could run it in like half an hour.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But I mean that was, as an aside, that was something that we really loved was, the South Rim was lots of tourists taking photos and selfies.
Like with
walking,
big selfie sticks.
yeah, and all that kind of stuff.
Nearly swiping you
Yeah.
in the face.
Whereas the North Rim and through the canyon was more like the runners and the through hikers, and it
Right.
was a great atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah.
People were so friendly, and we bumped into Dana there as well, which is really cool.
Oh, right. I saw the photos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome that he got to give you some stoke,
Yeah. Well, lots of people
Yeah.
did.
distract you for a minute.
Yeah. You need that. You
Yeah.
really do
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah.
I think through the night it was extra hard because, we didn't see many people.
It's just so little to look at as well. It's just walking. Like there's nothing to distract you.
Yeah, just your feet in front of you.
Yeah.
Just slog, one foot in front of the other.
But then in the daylight when you went up the steep bit, it's like really hard to rationalize your thoughts. Like I'm in one of the most beautiful places in the world, and it's spectacular. I've always wanted to be here, but then it just wants to kill you. You know what I mean? And it's
But
just
then
like
you just see miles of switchbacks in front of you.
yeah, and like massive red rock faces, and it's like it's amazing, but it's so intimidating at the same time. Yeah, it's strange emotions.
I think that's just because we were so tired, though.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. But then we eventually, somehow, dragged ourselves out the top.
Oh.
And it just...
We couldn't walk.
It started to snow, and it's like, it's gone freezing again.
And the public toilets
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah.
Rough night.
There's a heated bathroom, yeah, there?
I don't know if you know if it's... didn't feel heated to me, but it wasn't
Indoors.
outside.
Yeah.
It was indoors, and that was more than enough. Because we had thought we were going to get to Jacob's Lake, but we got up there and it was like, no way. After the hit our bodies have taken, just no way we're riding it in the night, and with the weather being what it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at least we were reasonably warm, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then open the door in the morning, and it's
The
like
surprise
deep
of
snow.
foot.
Oh my God, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
So it snowed overnight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
and through the day as we were riding.
As our helmets were sitting out there.
Yeah, everything was just coated in a few inches of snow.
Wow.
It's just, unbelievable.
So did you take the trail? Did you continue on the trail at that point, or was there a bypass?
We couldn't actually see the trail.
You couldn't. That wasn't an option. And I mean, John had said, if there was deep snow, take the road bypass.
Yeah.
So, but even that, there's certain sections. If there'd been even an inch more snow, we would have been hiking on the road.
Right.
So,
Wow.
we did and all, like, shall we try it? But it's like, no way. Off road,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have been able to see.
And with our tyres, just like gravel tyres, you wouldn't be able to grip.
Yeah,
Right.
there was no tread left by this stage. There was
No
no tread left
sidewall.
by Picket post.
Yeah.
How the tyres held up through this, I just don't know. Like the sidewalls are just furry, and all the knobs have ripped off, and how they're holding air's beyond me. I just don't know. So yeah, well done, Vittoria.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's Let me recap this post here from after the canyon. Just after dark yesterday, James and I dragged ourselves up the final switchbacks out of the Grand Canyon. Carrying a bike on my back for 21 miles through the canyon is without doubt the hardest physical and mental challenge I've ever undertaken. It is relentlessly tough and extremely slow. The miles stand still as your body weakens and the end seems to get closer. Quite how James did this at 13 years old is completely beyond me. Hikers offered to help, but there was no way he was accepting assistance, despite wondering himself how he could possibly get to the end. An incredible effort. He had his picture taken with loads of hikers and wanted to show their friends and the hero they had met. That's a great way to just tie it all together on the canyon hike.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard on the South Rim though, because the amount of people who want to take pictures of you, so you were just standing there quivering.
It's great, it's the positivity and the interest, and it's a very, very American thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everybody we've met, there's two questions: where are you from, what you're doing?
Yeah.
Which are great questions, because you
Good
end up
conversation starter.
you end up in conversations with everybody. But got to say, towards the end of the first day in the canyon, it was like,
Just couldn't be bothered.
no, no more, please. It's like we just can't talk anymore. We've just got to be in our own little world of quiet hurt here.
Hatred.
Yeah.
You need like business cards
Yeah.
that you can hand out that says who you are and what you're doing,
Yeah.
and where you're from.
Yeah. I mean, it's great though. It's like, the optimism and the friendliness and the positivity.
Different to the UK.
It's very different to UK.
Hmm.
Very different. It's definitely an American thing, and it's good.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's needed
Yeah.
Yeah.
to keep you putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Cool. So you ended up in Jacob Lake then
Yeah.
Yeah.
for a hotel
Yeah.
Yeah.
and some warmth.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. It was great. Really. I mean,
Yeah.
we could have carried on to the end.
And finished a day earlier, but we didn't really have a lift, and we just would have been sitting there.
Right.
Yeah, sitting in another pit toilet or lying on the sand or whatever. It's like, let's go to Jacob's
There's no
Lake.
point.
Yeah, there's no point.
Right.
Yeah,
And enjoy the end a little.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Jacob's Lake, the hotel motel shot,
Cool place.
really good.
Nice
Def-
food.
Yeah, definitely recommend that place.
Missed out on the cookies though.
Yeah, no, you
Everyone
didn't get
says they're
cookies,
good.
did you?
Yeah. You didn't get one?
No.
Idiot. That was a real mistake.
Like next time, right?
Yeah.
So many next times.
But yeah, just such a cool place, and like the staff, we were the talk of the kitchen when they'd heard what we've been doing,
Oh yeah.
and they brought out James like a gigantic platter of pulled pork and salad, and
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nice.
it was really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'd heard that it was, it's not just a modern like roadside.
Yeah, it's quite an old one.
It's an old trading post, and it showed.
Yeah.
Like you could feel that.
There's a nice warmth about the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great rooms, and yeah, that was a really nice. Because we finished early, we could have gone through and finished what would have probably been about 10 o'clock at night, and that wouldn't have
Yeah.
been ideal, would it?
Yeah. So tell me about the finish.
It was mixed emotions. It was quite. I was very happy to finish, not have to get up the next day and do it again.
Yeah.
But you loved the descent, though, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fun descent to the finish. Quite like 3 miles long.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Very fast, rocky, lots of switchbacks. James was flying. Yeah, it was got a bit sketchy for both of us because we're both going a little bit fast down there, weren't we? It was.
But it was the finish, so it didn't really matter.
You say that. You say that.
Crashed 1 mile from the finish.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good.
So was there surreal elation? Like what were the emotions you were kind of experiencing going into those last few miles?
The finish kind of felt like Jacob's Lake for us for some reason.
I see.
If you said Jacob's Lake, for me it felt like the canyon,
Yeah.
and like the adrenaline left my body at the canyon. Like everything else I knew after that, there'd be some miles to do, but that was the last thing that was going to stop us was the canyon.
Right.
But
The end just felt like the end, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
A little anticlimactic. maybe?
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
I mean, it's just like waiting on a bench, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's bike packing.
yeah. It
Yeah.
is.
Nobody's there at the finish.
It's not glamorous.
Yeah.
It's just you and you.
Well, actually, they were. I mean, massive thanks to Lee Bow and Matt. And Lee reached out to us and asked us what we're doing at the end, and arranged for Matt to come and collect us, which was just
Yeah.
can't thank them enough.
Amazing.
For that. Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah. They're awesome people.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, really nice.
Really, really good. I mean, yeah.
They connected us on this,
Yes.
which I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for both of you and Lee and Matt to get that
Yeah.
all connected.
Yeah.
So
So that made the end so much easier. That's for sure.
yeah, because you didn't really know, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
how that was going to sort out.
No, I didn't know at all. And as it turns out, like driving back from the end, even just those first few miles out of the state line campground, it's rough and, beaten up roads, and it's nothing there, is there? It's just like a lot of here. It's
Yeah.
like lots of
All right.
nothing, isn't there?
Our idea to hitchhike to Page was not a good one.
I'm sure it would have produced a story, but
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Well. So yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna ask what are you doing next, you're probably, we're gonna go eat. I'm gonna buy you guys some lunch if you want next. But
My pleasure.
How long are you There's a really good pizza place,
Oh.
a famous pizza place called Fratelli Pizza in Flagstaff.
Oh, this is the best bit about bikepacking, isn't it?
We'll have to go hit it up.
The Eat Fest.
It's my favorite place to go to after a bikepacking trip.
Right.
So I'll have to, if you guys are down, we'll have to go check it out. But, how long are you in the U.S.? Are you heading back sometime soon?
Thursday. We're leaving Thursday night.
Thursday, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, head back to Phoenix in the morning, disassemble the bikes, hook up with John, which would be cool.
Yeah.
Get
bit of a
some
debrief.
clothes back on.
Yeah, get some actual proper clothes back on. So yeah, it's worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing I would say it took a couple of days longer than I'd anticipated. And
We're
I think
planning
we
on
could,
finishing on like 15 days and 16 hours or something like that.
yeah, but
That was your projected time?
Yeah.
yeah, but I think like I've said to you before,
I think knowing the route makes a lot of difference. Could have saved a bit of time.
Absolutely.
A lot of time.
Really. But then, all these things we talked about with like being with a young person, not rolling the dice too much. There's a couple of times it's like, yes, we could have pushed on, but I just know how these things can unravel if you get it wrong. So it was like, like last night, for example, even though it wasn't a hazardous situation, that was another example of like, it doesn't matter how fast we finish. We've got to do this safely, comfortably, and eliminate risks of things going wrong.
Yeah.
But then other times you have to roll the dice, like in heading out of Flagstaff into the desert. We had no choice in that situation. But yeah, I think there's just got to be some responsible parenting at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I spent many years as a young man with my dad doing things like this and freezing my ass off in canyons and rivers. And I remember one morning I was so cold because I brought the wrong sleeping bag, and we were in this canyon where you weren't getting out, right? You had to get yourself out. Very similar.
Yeah.
And he brought all the right gear. And I remember that morning he got up at 5 a.m. or whatever and started milling around at camp. And first thing I did was just crawled into his sleeping bag because I was so cold all night long. Yeah. Right. And so, yeah, I remember those days very fondly now. And at the time I was like, not, and I did want to ask about that before we wrap up is, were there times where you guys were kind of like, we're going to get some distance between us because we're starting to get on each other's nerves or something like that?
I'll let you answer that one.
I mean, we had a few debates at some point, but nothing. Like...
No, we didn't. I mean, I just think these are the pros and cons of doing this kind of route, either on your own or with somebody else.
We didn't really have anything to talk about.
Did you run out after the first 2 days?
Pretty much.
I don't think it was quite that bad. We
6 days.
Okay. But I think the thing is, like, I think most of the time our emotions were fairly matched.
Yeah.
But then occasionally, I mean, I felt a bit bad about this. I was a bit... Yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. When it was really cold, going over to Jacob's Lake, James was feeling all right, and my body temperature went to pot, and I felt really, like, irritable. And
I think I was just saying to stop being miserable.
Yeah. But then there was other times in the canyon where James was really desperate and miserable, and I wasn't so bad. So
right.
I think it's just natural that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Being with somebody else, it's always going to happen that way.
Sure. You're going to have different high points and low points.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if you know the person, you can just kind of give them the space when they need it, or
Yeah.
say the right thing when they need it sometimes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I've been there with my wife a few times in that canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That hole.
It's just like, we're just going to get through it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's it. I mean, I think one of the defining things of this is coming from the other side of the world to do something like this.
You feel like you have to finish it because you're not going to get a second chance. Really.
Yeah. Or not in any immediate hurry anyway.
Yeah.
It's like you get one shot. I think if you live here, and I felt the same way when I did Colorado Trail Race, it's like, I'm going to finish this. And James is kind of mentality is like task finisher,
Yeah.
even against all odds, which it was at times, really against all odds. But his strength of mind to go, no matter what happens, I'm finishing this, was really impressive.
I just regret it for a while if I didn't finish it. I just think I could have pushed on for just one more day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then certain situations, it was like the elastic was near snapping for both of us, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That,
like the canyon.
yeah, like how much of more of this can we take?
Mm-hmm.
But that's endurance events, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
The
this,
definition,
Yeah.
basically.
This is a tough one. I've done a
Yeah.
lot of routes and rides and races all over the world, but this is the hardest I've done,
Wow.
without a doubt.
Yeah. But look, you set a pretty. There's a bar that's been set now. It's all upward mobility from here.
Yeah, life will feel easier after this.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I was complaining about having to make my own breakfast. It's gonna feel easy now.
Gonna feel easy. That's great. All right. Well, let's kind of let's wrap this up so we can go get some food. I did want to shout out some of your sponsors while we
that's
have an
great.
That'd be
opportunity.
great.
And James, I know if any downhill mountain bike manufacturing companies would like to sponsor James, if you're out there, we'll put his Instagram in the notes.
Yeah.
But let's see, Matt. I'm just reading off your list that's on Instagram. Madison Cycles.
Yeah, so Madison are one of the biggest
Supplier.
distributors in the UK, and they, a whole host of brands, but notably Shimano, which obviously getting support from Shimano is absolutely gold.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Shimano, Vittoria Tires, DT Swiss, Pro Bike Gear, Shimano's own component brand,
Okay.
Laser
Victoria.
Helmets, Vittoria, they've been a huge help.
Yeah, couldn't have done it without them.
No, and Rich from Shimano is like one of the head mechanics in the north of England. He's been amazing.
Cool.
Like before I do any events, I go down and he strips my bike down. Refits anything worn. Brilliant mechanic.
Just track crew on it.
Yeah, does a check on everything, and he did that beforehand, obviously, which is brilliant because the bike that you start with on this is not the bike you end with.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's about like half of it.
yeah. And then Albion, fantastic clothes for these types of events. These lightweight Zoa jackets have been brilliant. Great waterproofs. Exposure lights. I didn't go for. I'm glad actually now. I mean, I don't think Exposure's a big brand that you get in America, but they're fantastic lights. I thought about dynamos, but I had a Sun hub failure fairly recently, and I thought, well, I much prefer to carry that extra bit of weight of separate lights, because at least if you have a hub failure, your wheel's not turning. Whereas, if you have a light failure, which is very rare with Exposure, obviously, but if you do, at least you can keep moving. So we carried a couple of Exposure lights each, and it was only at one point where we needed to have the second backup light, but I'm glad we had it.
Yeah.
And the thought of ripping out a dynamo cable, maybe that's been a bit paranoid, but I'm not 100% on the spade clip type setup. I'm not. It just looks a bit fragile to me.
Yeah.
And especially with the terrain we're being on, where you're dragging your bike across rocks and spiky plants and all that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people swear by dynamos, and yeah, they're great in many ways, but I went with the separate lights, which was good.
Yeah.
Restrap, obviously, fantastic bike bags.
Yeah. Everything you could really ask for in a bike bag.
Yeah, and they've been a massive help to us. Seat to Summit, brilliant sleeping bags, mats.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. We're very fortunate. We've had some great
Yeah.
support.
That's great.
Yeah. Anybody else? I think that covers them all, doesn't it?
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And your Instagram, Rich Rothwell Cycling,
Yeah.
and James Rothwell _MTB.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
And then you might have some coaching. Do you do any coaching or?
Yeah, I do online coaching for advanced cycle coaching.
Okay.
So
That's advance_cycle_coaching,
yeah.
right? Okay.
So yeah, anybody interested in ultra distance racing from the inside, I can give them a view.
Amazing. Let me just finish off with the last thing we said here. So your last posting on Instagram, it hasn't quite sunk in, but we finished the Arizona Trail 800. Turns out we rode over 900 miles and climbed over 100,000 feet. The emotions are hard to express now. Obviously got lots to say, but that's it for now. Thanks so much to everyone who has supported us and willed us on. It's been a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty nicely.
Yeah. But I mean, doing this with you here is really, really helpful.
Yeah,
Because as you can see at certain points,
it's just like such a blur.
yeah. I mean, his memory's better than mine,
Yeah.
but piecing it together again's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, congratulations. It's such an epic feat for both of you.
Thanks.
Like doing it, getting it done,
Yeah.
and not giving up. I appreciate spending the time here and that we could connect here in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Taking
Great.
the time today, and
Yeah.
let's go get some pizza. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So congratulations,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you.
All right. I wanted to let you know a few different ways that you can support this podcast. Of course, you can like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Tell other people about it. Tell your friends and family. If you think these conversations I'm having are valuable as I think they are, share it. Send it out. Ask them to subscribe. That would be amazing. That's a free way that you can support. Another way you can support is by financially support is by becoming a member on either YouTube or Spotify. Those links are always in the description of all the videos. And YouTube members do get some extra perks like member shoutouts during the podcast, priority reply to comments, and best of all, you get early access to new videos that I'm releasing. You can also, if you don't want to sign up for a recurring membership, you can also show me your support by sending a one-time gift using what YouTube calls the super thanks feature. So when you're watching a video, down at the bottom, there's the little buttons, the thumbs up, thumbs down button. And right next to that, there is a heart with a little dollar sign in the middle, and it says thanks next to it. That is the super thanks button. So if you click that, it'll allow you to give a one-time gift, financial gift of your choice. And it's just incredible. Like seeing the support that I've gotten so far from both members and from Super Thanks is just amazing, and it is definitely allowing me to keep this thing rolling down the tracks.